everyone, and welcome back to the Juice Alert. I am, of course, your host, Jamon McKinney, and let's dive right into this topic right here. So, obviously, the 2022 NBA Finals, Boston Celtics versus Golden State Warriors. The Golden State Warriors, they're coming into this matchup, as in my opinion, probably the favorites among most general NBA fans. I mean, obviously, we know what Steph Curry brings to the table. We know about Klay Thompson, Draymond Green. However, there are some newer faces amongst the Golden State Warriors from previous years. You obviously have Andrew Wiggins, who they traded for a couple of years ago. Personally, I was pro Andrew Wiggins trade. He has proven me right. I thought Jordan Poole was a really good player coming out of Michigan. He's developed very, very quickly right before our own eyes. Jonathan Kuminga's played pretty well this season. You still have Andre Iguodala. So the Golden State Warriors obviously have the star power with Steph Curry, who is still an elite basketball player as we speak today. But also, they have a little bit of veteran leadership with Draymond Green, Andre Iguodala, but also the young guns, Jordan Poole, Jonathan Kuminga. I'm not too particularly surprised the Warriors are back in the finals. I personally would not have picked them to get to the finals. I felt that, at least this year, I felt they were a little bit overrated as a team, but they proved me wrong at least up to this point. So Golden State, that's kind of a little bit of a microscope of what they bring to the table. The Boston Celtics, man, they have come a long way. In January, this team was the 11th seed in the Eastern Conference, the 11th seed. They climbed all the way up to the number 2 seed. They were one of the best teams post-All-Star break, and they've really taken the league by storm. Jason Tatum has developed into a superstar right before our very own eyes. I believe he's one of the 10 best basketball players in the game right now. He's going to continue to ascend even higher if he were able to lead this team to a championship. I believe Jason Tatum is clearly the team's best player. You obviously have Jaylen Brown right beside him, the reigning defensive player of the year, Marcus Smart right next to him. Personally, I didn't think Marcus Smart deserved defensive player of the year, but he's a great defender. I would have voted Mikal Bridges, but that's beside the point. He's a good defender, and you also have guys like Al Horford. Al Horford has really had a resurgence during the playoffs, and you also have guys like Grant Williams, really good key role players. So, to me, these are two teams that definitely deserve to be here. These are not teams that fluked their way into this matchup, although I will say the Golden State Warriors, if John Morant were healthy and if Dylan Brooks didn't get suspended, personally, I think Memphis had a great chance to knock off the Golden State Warriors in the second round of the playoffs, but that's neither here nor there. These two teams are very talented. They have great coaching staffs. The coaching matchup is very interesting to me. Ime Udoka, who is a rookie head coach who is pretty darn good considering the fact that, it's his first season coaching as a head coach in the NBA and he's led his team to the finals. Then you obviously have Steve Kerr, the veteran head coach, who to me right now is arguably the best coach in the game. I don't think it's Greg Popovich anymore. I personally would have Steve Kerr ranked above a guy like Greg Popovich, above a guy like Nick Nurse. I think Steve Kerr is the best head coach going in the game right now. I think that he's been that way for at least the past 3 to 4 years. I think that he's an amazing head coach. So who do I have winning the NBA Finals? I believe the Boston Celtics are going to defeat the Golden State Warriors in the 2022 NBA Finals. I believe it's going to be a 7-game series, and I have Boston winning the series in 7 games if you want to get into specifics. Now, here's how I think this series is going to play out. Golden State, I think, is going to win Game 1. They're the more well-rested team. They're a veteran team. They have veteran leadership. Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, these guys have been there and done that in the NBA Finals in the past. They're going to be at home. That home crowd is going to be rocking. I think that Golden State jumps out and takes game number 1. I do think Golden State will, for a majority of game 2, pretty much dominate, but I do think Boston will find a way to win, just like they found a way to win every single time in a big spot during the playoffs. Here in these playoffs, I think Boston will take game 2, probably barely. Then I think Boston will start to build some momentum. I think in game number 2, the home crowd of the Boston Celtics is really going to mess with the Golden State Warriors. I think that Boston rolls in game number 2. However, I think in game number 4, the Golden State Warriors will find a way to grind out a victory somehow, some way. So really the pivotal game 5 is where things get interesting. I actually think Golden State is going to take Game 5. I just think that, you know, you can make the argument Golden State is probably the better team. They have the best player in the series in Stephen Curry. And I just think that it's going to take Boston a while to adjust in this series. I think that as the series goes on, Boston will get better and better. And I think Boston will finally hit their stride in game number 6 and in game number 7. I think Boston wins game 6 pretty convincingly back in Boston. And I think that in a game 7 where Golden State is going to probably be favored on their home court, Boston's going to be playing with nothing to lose. A lot of people probably are going to expect the Golden State Warriors to take home the championship. I think Boston shocks the world and makes it their year. I think Jason Tatum is going to win NBA Finals MVP. I think Ime Udoka is going to coach his butt off and actually find a way to coach this team to a victory. And listen, Golden State has every reason to win. They have the home court. They're more well-rested. They have an all-time great head coach in Steve Kerr. They have a transcendent player in Stephen Curry, the greatest shooter the game has ever seen, a guy that has won championships in the past, okay? But I do believe Boston's size, particularly on both offense and defense, is going to give the Golden State Warriors problems. The Golden State Warriors really don't have a big man that I feel confident in. I know that some people love Kevon Looney, but I'm not the biggest Kevon Looney fan. I think Boston has the size. I think Boston has the length on defense to bother Golden State. I think that they're going to really challenge them, and they're going to force Golden State to take some difficult shots, and we're going to see if Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, those boys, are able to withstand Boston's physicality on defense. And I think that Boston will bring a level of physicality on offense that Golden State is not going to be able to bring versus their defense. I think Boston's ability to shoot threes, I think Ime Udoka's coaching is the X factor in this matchup. And I think that Boston just honestly has nothing to lose. They're a young team. I think a lot of people are expecting the Golden State Warriors to win this series. And I think that Boston's at their best when they're kind of the underdogs. We saw them in game number 6 with their back against the wall versus Milwaukee. They won that game in Milwaukee and forced a game 7 and then went on to continue their run in the playoffs. They beat Miami in a game 7 to advance to the NBA Finals. They swept Kevin Durant and the Brooklyn Nets. This team has been through a lot, okay? And I think Jason Tatum is ascending right before our very own eyes. I do believe he's going to impact this series, both on offense and defense, and showcase his skill set. I think that Marcus Smart is going to give Steph Curry all he can handle on defense. I think that he'll hit some big shots on offense. I really do firmly believe it is the Boston Celtics year. I know Golden State probably is going to be favored, but give me the Boston Celtics to shock the world, to make it their season. The Boston Celtics will win the 2022 NBA Finals over the Golden State Warriors, and I believe Jason Tatum is going to take home the NBA Finals MVP. I believe he's ascending. I believe he's going to go down as one of the best players of his generation. I think he's only getting started. He's officially arrived. And I think this Boston Celtics team, led by Jason Tatum and Ime Udoka, is going to get the job done versus the Golden State Warriors in the 2022 NBA Finals. Thank you so much for watching this video today. Please also note that the Juice Alert Sports Podcast is not just a YouTube channel. It is available on all podcasting platforms, including Spotify, Google Podcasts, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this content with all your friends. This podcast is my favorite thing in the entire world right now. It is my passion. And I want more people to listen to this podcast. I really want this podcast to grow. Also, a fun fact about me is that I want to go into the sports broadcasting and media world once I graduate from the University of Toledo, a college in Northern Ohio. I currently am a freshman there right now. I am looking to become one of the next great sports broadcasters and analysts out in the world. And I potentially would like to start my own network if this podcast really truly grows. Or if I fall short of that goal, I would love to work for a big-time network like ESPN or Fox Sports 1. I am open to all networks. So if you believe in my dreams and you see or hear my passion through the screen, be sure to tell all your friends about the Juice Alert Sports Podcast. Stay motivated, you guys. Have a God bless day, and I'm out.